How does it make any sense? How can you take credit for when it is great, but then if it's failing all of a sudden, then it's something that you inherited from Biden? Like,
you frequently took credit for the stock market highs. You said it was a reflection of how well you were doing in the polls. Now, the stock market's not doing so well, and you're saying it's Biden's stock market.
Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me.
welcome to PTG TV. This is your host, Antonio Hicks. So, I know I've been gone. Like, I know I'm always disappearing, but this just happened. And then this happened. So it's been a roller coaster of emotions going up and down, celebrating my kids graduating from college, because it's been a long journey. If y'all have heard me talk about my story before, to one of my favorite uncles, and I'm trying not to even get emotional even just talking about it right now, passing away. And he had been sick, but it wasn't like to the point where I thought that he was going to be, gone like that. Because I mean, everybody gets sick. My dad, his brother, is my dad. They have their moments where, there's diabetes take them down for a little bit, but they just pick themselves back up. But he passed it, man. It's just been a roller coaster of things going on. To a lot of stuff I've been dealing with emotionally anyway. Outside of that, this kind of had me in a mixed bag of feelings about even recording any content or getting out and doing anything. And I know as the believer, you're supposed to always push through the hardness to be blessed. But man, when I'm telling you, when you're going through it, it's rough. Like, I believe all day, every day. I mean, I attend church just about every Sunday, and if I do it online, I don't go physically. But if I miss it on Sunday, then I watch the sermon on the Monday and just take notes and stuff on it. But I generally go every Sunday, and I wake up listening to motivational stuff and about motivational stuff every first thing in the morning, so I can stay grounded and into the word. But when I say it's been a roller coaster of emotions, like, it's just had me flat out. And then, like I said, stuff I'm going through mentally just kind of had me down and not wanting to do anything. But stuff I'm committed to, I am still working on. Like, I still stream. Like, I took breaks in streaming because I couldn't do it because I was out of town. And I'm not one of those IRL streamers. Like, I don't do a lot of streaming stuff live. Like I did when I did the protest, because I think it was something that I should have been, people needed to see. But outside of that, I'm not one of those. I guess I should be IRL streamers where I walk around with my tripod or gimbal and just post all of my stuff of what I'm doing. So that's where I've been at. If it concerns y'all, and I know the thing of consistency always pops up when doing any form of podcast or doing any form of content creation. But man, when I'm telling you, when you're going through and you're dealing with it, it takes you down. Like, it really does put you out. And it's like people always say, you guys got to keep pushing through it. And that's how you tackle the hill. That's easier said than done. And it's not to try to make no excuse, because I've been getting through it, but it still kind of had me on this roller coaster. I mean, I got friends reaching out, just checking up on me, which is good, to make sure I'm doing okay. But I am happy that my boys are graduated. Like, if y'all don't know my story, like his mom and I, we got divorced. They were like 3 and 4 years old, or 4 and 5 years old. I think 4 and 5 years old. Cause I think it was in preschool. And she moved to Michigan with them. And I'm gonna just give you a brief story before I get into today's topic, because today's topic kind of coincides with the subject of him graduating. Both of them graduated college. But yeah, we got divorced when they were like very young. They were babies. I mean, to me, I consider them babies, 4 and 5. And she moved to Michigan back with her family. So it was, you talking about 4 times a year, 3 to 4 times a year, if not more. I was going up and down the road to Michigan. I wasn't flying. I couldn't afford it, because we had lost everything. And a lot of times too, when I was bringing them back down here, they wanted to bring a ton of their toys and stuff. And I'm not going to tell them no, because I didn't have their stuff down here at the time. So I would have to drive them down, load the car like that. We literally fill the car up every single time to bring them down here, load it up, to take them right on back. And dude, I've been doing that since they was like 5 years old. I've been doing it for 5 years old, going up and down Michigan Road 4 to 5 times a year, since they was 3 to 5 times a year, because I go to summer for birthdays and a holiday. So 3 to 5 times a year, in case something special is going on, since they was 4 or 5 years old, and still paying for them. Like I wasn't one to skimp on child support. You know, I paid child support unless something came up to where I couldn't, and we would talk about it. But then once I was able to get the money for it, I would make up the back stuff on top of the current stuff. There's never been a time that I didn't like pay or make up for it. You know, y'all get what I'm saying. And on top of the other extracurricular activity stuff they did. So I had the 3 things I had in the house that the boys had to do regardless of anything they wanted to do. It was my requirement, and the mama adapted it because it went and coincided with what I did as just, you know, getting my corporate life and stuff. So they had to do 3 things. They had to play a sport. The sport taught them about working with a team and how to be a leader and how to work through problems in case like your team, whatever sport, it was playing soccer at the time. Like if your team loses, how to deal with the emotional state of that, how to pick yourself back up from that, how to stay strong, stay in shape. An instrument, because I think instruments got to help you out with your learning abilities and technical skills, because studies have shown that playing instruments do help out with your math skills and science skills and stuff. And it's just because it runs in my family. Like we have musicians all throughout my dad's side of the family. Like everybody plays an instrument or something. And I played the piano for the longest on top of singing. I haven't played any of this stuff or singing in a while, but I'm trying to play and I bought an acoustic guitar to play the acoustic guitar, and I haven't. But anyway, and then they had to be good at work in school. Like that was a part of the thing. So it was school, sports, music. Those 3 things. You did that trifecta. I will give you whatever you wanted. As long as I can afford it, I can give you whatever you wanted to make sure that you were successful, which I did. I paid for all the instruments. I paid for all of their technical stuff. I did everything that needed to be successful. So you're talking about I did that for all the years up until they graduated high school. And then once they graduated high school, I transitioned all that stuff over into stuff they was doing when they was in college. And so yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot, but I did it. So that's been a part of the emotional roller coaster of just being happy and just dealing with the stuff of knowing what I had to deal with just to get them to where they are today. And I mean, they didn't have to succeed. Like I told them, my son, with his graduation, they didn't have to succeed at all, but they chose to. Like, you know, most kids, like people try to give me credit for it, and I take it because I know what I put into it, but at the end of the day, it still falls on them, because no matter what I do, no matter what I strive for, you know, a kid can turn out to be bad if that's what they want to do. Like they can ultimately turn out to be bad, and there's nothing that you can say about it or do about it. It's just a choice that they decide that they made. Because I mean, it's the same thing in my household. You know, not to say that I'm not gonna talk about my siblings, but we all was raised the same way, but everybody turned out differently. And so there's nothing that they could have done, but they did it. And, you know, I'm very proud of them. I'm like, people can give me credit and I'll take it, because I sacrificed. I'm still sacrificing a lot, because one is still not all the way through yet, not until August. So July will be my last day of contributing anything towards like paying their rent and helping them get through school. Like July is, so I got 2 more, whenever y'all watch this, it's May right now. I got 2 more months of, you know, helping out and doing stuff to take care of them. So I shifted payments from child support payments to, which I didn't consider child support payments, because I don't even consider that, because I mean, the mom and I was never put on a court ordered child support payment. I've always paid whatever the percentage was I had to pay, and then some. And every time I got an increase, I increased how much I paid until their mom told me I didn't need to increase it because I was paying for other stuff too. And so I've been doing it up until I transitioned from that over into giving it directly to them. And that's what I've been doing, on top of, you know, paying for like my oldest son's rent and other stuff for school. So, I mean, you know, just it's an emotional state. And then, like I said, it's just to know all the stuff that you sacrifice. Because if y'all parents out there, y'all know what y'all sacrifice for y'all kids. If y'all doing stuff for y'all kids, I can't say every parent does stuff for the kids, but for the most part, if you're doing stuff for your kids, you know what you got to sacrifice to get them from elementary to middle school to high school to college, and all that takes to get through all that, on top of sports and other extracurricular stuff that they're doing, is a lot of work. And in the midst of all that, you trying to survive and have a career for yourself. And so for me, it's just been a lot of stuff. At 46 years old, man, it's been a lot of stuff. And it's had me through this whole emotional state of questioning where I'm at, where I want to be at, where I should have been, and then where I see myself going in the near future. Because now that you're seeing family members check out, and y'all know my sister-in-law, she's no longer with us, and that happened October of last year. It brings you into looking at your place here, and then how do you fit in here on this earth, and what you want, the goals that you want to achieve, to have some place of happiness before you make that transition. And that kind of came back into place even more when my uncle passed away. And when he passed away, I'm just like, man, you're doing so much just so you can have, because I do believe in longevity, life and longevity. And I'm going to get on today's topic, but I do believe in immortality to a degree. And when I say immortality, is what you're doing while you're here right now. So when you do leave here, people can remember you for doing something good, not bad. I mean, it's always, from like I taught my boys, for every action, there's a reaction. So it's like, what are you doing here right now for people to remember you when you do leave? And I think that I'm not the most active person when it comes to community service work, but I do community service work. I do help out my friends when they're in need, spend family members too, without looking for any type of reciprocation. Because I think that while we're here, we're supposed to help others and not just ourselves while we're here. And you shouldn't always look for it to be transactional, to where if you did this, that they should be doing something back in return. And so I think when I do leave here, that I've done a good enough job to where I have something to remember by. And people will have nice things to say on top of having life insurance and everything else. So when I do leave here, it's like, it's not that it would ever be a financial burden on me, because my kids don't owe me nothing, and I don't have anything that would get passed along to them, but I do have two good life insurance policies so that I can pass on the generational wealth and bless them to where they can do what they want to do with it, start businesses, buy land, or I can't even say and just enjoy life. Like if they decide to take a year or two off, and just so they can travel the world and really experience life off of what I left them, because it's a lot. I ain't even gonna say how much it is. It's a lot, and it increases every year. And I'm not gonna stop it from increasing, because I could, but I'm not gonna stop it from increasing. I think my goal is to get to, before I transition, to have a good $5 million policy, $6 million policy. It's up there right now. It's not to the multi-million dollar salaries, but it's up there now. But when I leave here, I want to get to a place I want to leave them a generational wealth, to leave them something to where they can do what they want to do. And most importantly, to establish some kind of equity in something, be it a business that they make it successful, or buying some land somewhere and they can use it for investment purposes, or, whatever, or live on it themselves, which they can in turn hand down to their kids if they decide to have kids, or to somebody else. Hopefully they have kids, because I want my legacy to live on. But that's kind of where I've been at, why I have not been active. And it's always the same story with me, because I am one of those emotional people. Y'all don't know that about me. Y'all don't personally know that about me. I'm a very emotional person. And y'all say, what's your sign? I'm a Cancer, but I think that's irrelevant to anything. The stuff that I've gone through in life, it makes me a very emotional person, to where I kind of check out, and I shouldn't, because I know better and I've been through it before, but I do, because it just becomes overwhelming at times. And so I take the easy way out of doing stuff that I'm very consistent in, which is like the streaming stuff. Because I can pick up a microphone and just start talking. I can. But then when you start talking about doing the extra work of like editing stuff and, getting stuff ready for content creation, to me, that's work. And because I'm going through a state of depression, I just don't want to do it. Now I'm doing it because, you get tired of corporate America. I've been doing corporate for a long time, and I ain't got no problem with it. I love it. I do. It helped my boys get through school. I'm not going to complain about something that helped them get through school and helped me get to where I am today. I just want more out of life than just being known as a corporate person. And so when they graduated, like my youngest son is graduating at the end of May. So whenever y'all see this, my oldest graduated May 2nd, and my youngest graduated May 31st. And at least I know my youngest already got a job, which is wild. Like he's finished school, and after him finishing school, 2 weeks after he finished school, he got a job, which is a blessing, huge blessing. I tell him all the time, I was like, bro, God is literally watching over you. I was like, you got somebody watching over you, because I'm like, a lot of people can't say that. I mean, he's never worked a job a day in his life. Like his oldest brother, like me, like he'll work anything and everything, and he gonna shine in it. But is it what he can survive off of? Probably it's not sustainable. I mean, it is, but it ain't sustainable. Like he ain't making he ain't getting corporate pay like what I'm getting and what his brother's getting right now. But I'm believing for him to get that because he's the one that still has to finish up a couple of classes and then he'll get his actual degree. But yeah, when the youngest graduated, somebody had already scouted him out, but he said to go through the interview process. It wasn't even 2 weeks after he graduated, he had him a job. And so that goes into when you start talking about jobs, and I'm looking at this whole administration. So I appreciate y'all for hanging around for that. So if you still here, thank you for still being here because that was a long rant. But it just kind of give you a highlight of like what I go through mentally, and when I go through it mentally, what that means for content creation and putting like episodes and stuff out here. Because it's rough, because it's like you have things that you want to work on, but man, it's that mind, man. That mind will sit you down for a little bit, and it shouldn't, but it does. But it brings you into today's topic, because it's like multiple things I can talk about on this episode when it comes to this administration, because it's like they make it easy to talk about them. I said it once before. They make it easy to talk about them, and I don't want to spend too much time on them all the time, but I'm like, some of the stuff kind of frustrates the hell out of me. Because it's like I'm going to say this, when it comes to them, they have no regards to law enforcement or laws or, or even experienced individuals. And it's like they talk about this whole DEI thing for so long, this whole diversity, equity, and inclusion for y'all that don't know what that is, and you should, because I mean, they've been talking about it every other day. But they focus so much on, everything has to be merit-based. From, I think Candace Owens is saying it to, I'm not even going to get on MTG, all these clowns up there. Telling me, everything should be merit-based. And I've heard this for years, even before DEI even became a thing. And I'm just like, that's BS, first of all. First of all, that's some complete BS, because even in my career history, I have been overlooked for positions, and I've been told most people can say, they probably don't know. They want to assume, and it can be a safe assumption, but I've been told personally that I've been held back for specific reasons that was related to who I am. And I know that people have gotten positions over me that don't even have the same skill sets as me. Yeah, I mean, one of my old directors, he had area manager. He had a degree in marketing. I'm an engineer. Computer science, cybersecurity. I'm an engineer. And how does a person in marketing become no tech background at all, no tech background at all, become an area manager over an engineering team? Tell me how that makes sense at all. That's like me coming into a marketing department and I'm leading the marketing department with no marketing experience whatsoever. And so you look at some of who this dude got coming into the administration, and it just lets you know that it's not about DEI. It's not about merit-based stuff. Technically, to me, it's about race. And him seeing that, and this is not a thing against white people. I got, and anything against white people, that they should be the qualified candidate and or people they deemed that they like should be the candidate and not the actual qualified merit-based candidate, which is the whole purpose of the whole DEI thing, right? It was to give us put us on an equal playing field to where we can get some of these same jobs that these people in these positions were already working in and was giving them some easy. Prime example, one of my coworkers. I've been doing technical work my entire career. Like I've been in technology my entire career, over 20 something years. I've been in technical, 24 years to be exact. I've been doing 24, 25 years. I can't remember the exact date. I've been doing tech work. I don't care if it was telecom stuff, IT-based, cybersecurity, network engineering, which is primarily where the bulk of it is. I've been doing technical work. And I'm in this organization, and I've told this story once before. And one of my coworkers, he's always worked, and I work in labs, this lab engineering department, which I work in R&D, so research and development. We work on new and emerging technologies that's coming out. In this case, we work on new and emerging 5G technology that's coming out, and they're being adapted to a network. I'm not going to say the company or anything like that, because one of my coworkers, he does watch my podcast too. He knows, but and he probably wouldn't know who I'm talking about. But my old coworker, he's a white guy. They ain't got a problem with him. I don't have a problem with him whatsoever. Like, he and I had a good working relationship. Real cool white guy. I didn't know some of his beliefs, and it's not affecting my relationship with him because I did set him straight. But he's been working in labs and R&D stuff. He's almost his entire career. Like, he came out, been doing all this, and it was during COVID, and they was, they're telling people they got to take the vaccine, and or you're gonna probably get laid off. And he said he wasn't taking it because of religious belief, which I call bullshit on that. I was like, what religious belief preventing you from taking a vaccine? And so we were talking about it at work one day, and he was like, well, if I get laid off, ain't nobody gonna hire me. And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, why wouldn't you? He's like, because I'm this middle-aged white guy, and everything is right now is about diversity, and they're gonna hire somebody that look like you before they hire me. And I was just like, I'm like, pardon me? I'm like, pardon me? I don't think you realize who you're talking to. I was like, I don't think you actually know. You don't know my backstory. I was like, excuse me? I was like, repeat that again? I said, you think they would hire me before they hired you? And he was like, yeah, because, everything is about diversity. I was like, do you know how long? I've been trying to get in labs for a long time, I started my career in 1999. Since 2004, I want to get in Bell Labs and work in some form of lab. Bell Labs have invented a lot of stuff for multiple companies. But I just want to get into the lab environment. I was like, I've been trying to get in labs, in any lab, since 2004. I'm like, I've done hackathons. I'm like, I've worked on multiple tech projects, multiple programming projects. I'm like, I've done all kind of things that should technically get anybody into any lab environment. And I was like, I couldn't even get an interview. And I was like, I went through a VP program that would introduce me, the VP mentoring program, that they help mentor you to get you into like certain fields that you want to get into and hire like senior levels, but even mid levels too. Because at this time I was senior level. I'm senior level right now. And I was like, even going through that, they told the VP, because she was a woman too, they told her no. Now I was like, I don't know anybody tell a VP no, but they told the VP no. And these were not VP level people. These were like directors. And they told her no. And it wasn't because I wasn't qualified. They just want to see me go through a different paths. They want to see me go through the path of some of what their employees went through to get into their department. Even though I was qualified, and even though we had worked parallel positions, but I just worked on one side of the house and they worked on the other side of the house doing almost identical things. But they just wanted me to work in that side of the house first from the bottom up. And I was like, ain't nobody doing this shit. I was like, in that time, I had 18 years in the game then. I was like, ain't nobody doing this shit. Like, ain't nobody doing it at all. But I was like, I've done all this work. And I said, you gonna tell me, somebody that's been in this position, that's been able to make your own schedule, that's had this high level of pay, like it's high level pay, getting a high level pay, and you gonna tell me they would pick somebody like me over you? I was like, in what world do you live in? I said, maybe because you've never heard that story. You've never been overlooked for a position because of what you look like and your name, because my name is Antonio Hicks. I was like, I get the discrimination from having my name is Antonio Cortez Hicks. So y'all already got my whole full government name, Antonio Cortez Hicks. I'm like, I get a discrimination of people thinking I'm Mexican on top of it too. Or Spanish. Well, in this case, a lot of people thought I was Mexican on top of it too. So I'm like, not only do I get discrimination of being black, I get a discrimination of people thinking I'm Mexican before they even look at me and see that I'm black. So I'm like, I'm getting the double-edged sword. And I said, you gonna tell me as a white man that they will pick somebody like me over you when you've been sitting in a place of comfort in the place that you want to be working in your entire career. And I was like, okay. So then I guess to kind of say that to him, and he was like, oh, because I went through my whole story. He was like, I'm sorry. I just never thought of it like that. And I said, but you wouldn't have, because you've never had to deal with that before in your life. As old as you are, you've never had to deal with that before in your life. And you're not empathetic to the people that have to deal with it, so you don't put yourself in other people's shoes. So we look at this administration now, and they've getting all these black people that's overly qualified for these positions. They work their behinds off to get put in these positions, and they're putting people in here that are not qualified at all. Like Pete Hegseth, Fox News reporter. Why is he over the Secretary of Defense? Why is he over Secretary of Defense? What does he know about defense? He served in the military, 4 years? Why does he know about defense? How does he know about defense? He has no medals, no anything. Why is he over the Secretary of Defense? So much so that he's out communicating through an unsecured app. And yes, I know the app has end-to-end encryption, but anything can be broken. One thing you learn when you work in cybersecurity, I hate the term cybersecurity, when you work in security, because to me, it's always been IT security or just security in general. When you work in security, anything can be hacked. Like anything literally can be hacked. It can. They can stage man-in-the-middle attacks. They can do all kind of attacks to put themselves in the middle of a conversation and to be able to unencrypt that and read what's going on. But you put it in a web app environment, an app that's on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. And this is the Secretary of Defense. And then you have, and something that you and I would get fired for. In my line of work, I've seen people get fired for the littlest of little things. Far worse than what this man did. I had somebody make a mistake during a cutover. Matter of fact, he was on my team. I managed him. He's on my team. It was the first rollout of E911. So E911 is like the electric version, the digital version of 911, because beforehand we had the POTS lines, the Plano Telephone Service POTS lines that you had the physical connection for. E911 was the rollout of like your digital version, like your cell phones. And so it's up and working. We're managing the network for it, and we're doing a cutover from one switch to another switch. And he's putting in, he's doing the software side. He's doing encoding on our side of the house, and he puts in the wrong IP address, broke it, took down the whole network for 911, broke it. It was down for, I think it's 2 hours. 2.5 hours, which means it had to be FCC had to be called. Once the FCC got called, homeboy got fired the very next day. Once we got it back up and working, homeboy got fired the very next day. Got fired because 911 services was down. Not a reprimand, not a slap on the wrist, not even a slap on the wrist, like a write-up, put him on a performance improvement plan. No, he got fired the very next day. Had another guy was doing a cutover. I can understand this one. I don't understand firing him. I understand like a performance evaluation because mistakes happen, right? I mean, mistakes happen. But he was doing another cutover, and we cut over in maintenance windows. So if y'all don't work in technology, we have maintenance windows, meaning that the least amount of traffic is on a server. That's when we do cutovers. So typically maintenance windows go from 11 p.m. till 6 a.m. in the morning. So when y'all get those emails from companies saying, hey, certain services are going to be down because we're doing maintenance work, that's what they are. Is maintenance work taking place in the maintenance window. And it's always in the morning because typically most people are asleep. So they do it in stages. So depending on where you are in the world, if they have, because you have to have data farms or servers in multiple locations. So wherever you are in the world, it's generally when people are mostly asleep at night when the cutovers are taking place. But anyway, we were doing a cutover in Detroit, Michigan. And I didn't realize, none of us realized this. He had taken down the network and he did a cutover, and we had a mop, and he didn't follow the mop. A mop is a method of operating procedure. We had a mop, and he didn't follow the mop to a T, and he broke the network. Well, he thought it was up and working. Like, he didn't check it before he left. He thought he did, but he didn't check it before he left. And the network was down for, I think it was 1 million people. Like, he broke. I'm not going to give you specifics. This is proprietary. But he broke the network for almost 1 million people in up in Detroit. Was it 1 million? Anyway, he broke it. We saw the entire city was just like red, and we was trying to troubleshoot what the hell happened. And he didn't log that it was an actual cutover taking place, so we didn't realize it was a cutover taking place. So we was going through and looking to see when changes. We looked into the back logs, to look and see what changes took place, and we saw changes took place in the maintenance window. So he didn't log that he was doing a cutover. They didn't schedule it. He just went in arbitrarily and thought it was easy work, and he made a mistake, and he did this cutover without involving other people too, and took the network down. Well, I guess putting that in perspective, yeah, he should have been fired. He got fired. This man is talking about wars and like bombings and stuff in an unsecured platform, and they gave him every pass under the sun. But he's qualified. He's qualified for it. And then we look at our FBI director, right? Our FBI director just went before the Senate Appropriation Committee to talk about his budget. Yet he comes in without a budget. And he not only does he not have a budget, he doesn't have a timeline as to when he's going to have a budget.
Now, let me just start with the budget. As Ranking Member Van Hollen noted earlier, this hearing is being held without the FBI's fiscal year 2025 spend plan and a full budget request for fiscal year 2026. The spend plan is required by law. It was due to Congress over a week ago. We have not yet seen it. That is really absurd. The FBI is our nation's leading law enforcement agency, a budget of $10.7 billion. It is critical that we understand how you are spending taxpayer dollars. So, Director Patel, when should we expect this FY25 spend plan for the FBI? Have you seen it? Have you reviewed it? When will we get it?
I'll get you an answer, ma'am. I don't have a timeline on that.
It was due last week by law.
I understand.
And your answer is you just understand. You're not going to follow the law?
My answer is that I am following the law, and I'm working with my interagency partners to do this and get you the budget that you are required to have.
But we have to appropriate funds. The Congress does, because they control the purse, has to appropriate funds to that department to pay salaries and stuff. But he don't have a budget for Congress to know what it's going to be. And then to make it so bad, he doesn't even go to his own hearings half the time. He don't go to his morning briefings half the time. He's somewhere else, and he's spending a lot of time going to UFC matches to watch MMA, mixed martial arts. But he's qualified. Like, he's qualified. So now you tell me, in what world do you live in? All y'all that work corporate jobs, all y'all that work blue collar jobs, that you can show up to a meeting that you scheduled to be for, that you know you're supposed to be in, and you got to have certain reports ready, that you can come in unprepared and don't give a timeline as to when you will have what you needed. Because, I mean, stuff come up. Like, we break scope all the time on projects. But even if you break scope, you got to have a perspective as to when, or a timeline as to when you plan to get the updates. So if we don't have it ready today, okay, when is your projection of when you're going to have it ready? And then can you show us what's going on right now that prevented you from being ready today? We got to have all those things available to be presented to, like, project managers and to executives and stuff, so they would know. What organization you know will be okay with that? I'll wait. None. But the talk is always about DEI and how people are unqualified for the work that they do, because the only reason they got those jobs was because of DEI. And it's interesting how things are always projected onto other people based on their own personal lack of skills that they have. I mean, I see that a lot, especially from narcissistic individuals who never want to take accountability for their own issues, but will rather project them onto others, which is definitely who 47 is. He will never take accountability. I mean, he said it himself when asked about the stock market. He said when it's good, he did it, but when it's bad, it's Biden's fault. And I was like, how does it make any sense? How can you take credit for when it is great, but then if it's failing all of a sudden, then it's something that you inherited from Biden? Like,
the transition, sir. You frequently took credit for the stock market highs. You said it was a reflection of how well you were doing in the polls, and then after you were elected, you said the stock market highs were a reflection of how well the transition's going and the American people's confidence in your incoming administration. Now, the stock market's not doing so well, and you're saying that's the Biden stock market, yet you are the president. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I'm not taking credit or discredit for the stock market. I'm just saying that we inherited a mess, both at the borders. You could look at every single one of the people.
how can it be good and it's you, and then when it's bad, it's not you? Like that in itself just don't even make any sense. And now we see the same thing with the new Surgeon General. He's appointed Casey Means. And I mean, she did graduate from Stanford Medical School, but she never practiced medicine. And now some of her beliefs I can get behind some of her beliefs, but at the end of the day though, I'm like, I need you to help practice medicine too though. Like I need you to help practice medicine.
Nominee for the U.S. Surgeon General who never finished her residency and is not a practicing physician. So can you explain why you picked her to be America's top doctor?
Because Bobby thought she was fantastic. She's she's a brilliant woman who went through Stanford, and as I understand it, she basically wanted to be an academic as opposed to a surgeon. I think she graduated first in her class at Stanford, and Bobby really thought she was great. I don't know her. I listened to the recommendation of Bobby. I met her yesterday and once before. She's a very outstanding person, a great academic actually. So I think she'll be great.
So I mean, when I see stuff like that, like it's always interesting to me how they'll always say that things have to be based on merit. Which in my younger son, Casey got a job, it was based on merit. It was based on his skill sets. It's always based on skill sets too, though. It wasn't based on a so-called DEI perspective where they had a quota they had to fill. It was based on his hard work. And generally, when we get in these positions, it is us that's working hard. It is the jobs that I have worked in. I think I worked harder than some of my peers. First of all, I think it's just because it's because how I was brought up here in the South, because I've always been told that we have to work doubly hard compared to those that surround us to give people not a reason to fire us. And then it's kind of just my work ethics too, to where, I mean, I just like to be busy, man. Like I really like to be busy. I get tired. I don't get enough sleep at night. Like I really don't I do not get enough sleep at night. Like I have borderline insomnia, and I try to take medication where it don't work. But I still like being busy throughout. And I know y'all like, what the hell does got to do with anything? It's like because I like to be busy, even though I'm tired. I'm saying that because I'm tired, I still want to work and get stuff done, regardless of my own personal emotional state. So I don't mind working extra. But what kills me is, though, that if I'm doing more than the people that are around me, that's what pisses me off. And that's generally when it comes to us, what that means. Not every exception, but it's the same thing as other people, too. They're not always the greatest of the greatest. So I'm not going to sit here and say that, every black person that's working a job is the best. They're not. But I'm like, my thing is, I've never said that we should get hired just because we're black. I think we should just get, again, like I said before, it should be equally based on skill sets and y'all resumes. Now, if you're not performing up to par like you're supposed to be, and they put you on the performance evaluation and you still not doing what you got to do, then you got to be let go. I don't think nobody should keep you around just because you black, Mexican, a woman, Asian, or whatever. I don't care about any of that. I'm like, if you're not performing, you're not performing. Nobody wants a sorry employee on a job. Nobody does. I don't care about any of those things. If they gotta get fired, they gotta get fired. And if anybody put a race card on that and they put you on an evaluation and you weren't keeping your end of the agreement upon every evaluation, you can kick rocks with their whole, they fired me because no, it's not because you're black. It's because you're sorry. It is because you're sorry. The whole reason behind the whole DEI thing, though, is give us an opportunity to get in some of those jobs, to interview for those jobs, and actually be considered for those jobs, like our white peers are. It's the whole thing that was about. And I've seen many of us get overlooked. I mean, a story was even just told today, and about this woman applying for a job, and she didn't get it. But because one of her family members, like they kicked her out, the AI kicked her out immediately, and she was overqualified for it. But then they found out that one of her family members is a higher up in the organization, and they asked about it, and it was like, oh, no, we didn't know she was related to you. No, have her come back in, and then resubmit her resume, and we'll get her in here. And it's like, and she said no, because I'm like, why would I do that? If you didn't want to hire me for my skills, and you kicked me out, probably because of how I look at my name and stuff, but because somebody that I'm friends with or I have a family member with that was trying to pull me, that wanted me to interview, like they didn't want to just bring me, they wanted me to go through the interviewing process. You want to bring me in? No, I don't want to be a part of that. That's some shady stuff. And that's stuff that we have to deal with on a daily basis. So the question at the end of the day was it about DEI? Was it merit-based? Or was it about race and sex and sexism? Because they've been kicking out, I'm not going to say it's all black people. They've been kicking out women, historical women in off the records too. So was it about race? I mean, was it about DEI? Or was it about people's lifestyle, LGBTQ+, or them being a woman? Or they was just black? Guess we'll never know. But it's expected. And it was expected. And which is why I made that video, like, where are the black MAGA supporters at now? Because with all this going on, all of them removing historical data, they removing grants, anything related to it's got involved with any form of black people whatsoever. I can honestly say that this administration is very much so a sexist, misogynistic, racist administration, and they do not care about people of color. Hence them bringing over South African white people because their ancestors stole land and the government was reclaiming it back, but yet they're kicking out all the brown people and then threatening to send them over into Libya. So y'all be blessed. Y'all meditate. If y'all believe, stay prayed up. But get out. This is the prime example of how we need to show up. We have to show up. We have to vote. We have to be active. And I can't leave you with an action item on this one or call to action on this one outside of what I normally tell you to do is to get involved with local organizations. I'm not telling you to get out and protest because I don't think the protesting is going to help now, especially with him destroying every department that it could potentially help, that could help you with that. I'm just saying when the time comes to be out there and vote and to support a candidate, that you do just that. And until then, work towards building up your community, support small businesses because small businesses are being torn down and they need all the help they can get. And do your best to be a good person because tomorrow is not promised. And to love up on yourself because this is Mental Health Awareness Month whenever y'all see this. And make sure that you love up on the people that surround you. You have to because, again, tomorrow is not promised. So remember, y'all take y'all L's, live for today. Like I said, tomorrow's not promised. Laugh about the things that you have no control over because life is hard. And lead with your heart because I honestly believe that you lead with your heart, God will send nothing but goodness towards your way. So until the next time, love y'all. I am changing this channel up. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notifications. If you like what I'm doing, please turn on your subscribe to the channel. Share it because I'm going to be doing more political talk. I'm going to remove all of the gaming content. So I know a lot of people came in. If you left, you ain't going to see this message anyway. But a lot of y'all came in for the political talk and some tech talks, and you've been seeing a lot of the gaming content. Again, I told you early on, I told you why I was doing some of the gaming content, even though it is PTG TV, it's politics, technology, and gaming. But I'm removing the gaming content onto my other gaming platform. I've talked about it before. And this channel is just going to be strictly based about the news as far as politics, new tech stuff that's coming out with AI stuff, and just technology in general. And then if I do talk about games, it is just about the game itself, games I'm excited about. But when it comes to the actual gameplay, it's going to be on my other YouTube channel. So love y'all again. Please like, subscribe. Let's talk about how you feel about what's going on in this administration. And then if you are doing something, let's talk about what you're doing. And then until then, y'all be safe.